Yaha! Bucky here. Today I am wearing the frilliest, pinkest, most extravagantly ruffled magical dress you ever seen. Tomoyo totally helped me sew this. I got my ceiling one ready, and I'm chasing down some rogue cards. Let's pass the wand over to the host for episode 15. Release!
Ready? Let's go! Yeah! Let the next big quest flow. Grab my bucket, hold on tight for a show that's super bright. Is it action? Is it feels? Let's find out what's for real. It's the Anime Bucket Quest. Yeah! The Anime Bucket Quest!
Welcome back, Questers, to another magical episode of Anime Bucket Quest. I'm your host, Stefan Chais. We've been through the dark criminal underworld and battle vampires, but today we are purifying our souls. We are looking at one of the foundational pillars of the magical girl genre, a show that defined a generation's childhood and holds up as an absolute masterpiece of animation and storytelling. Today, we are reviewing the 1998 classic Cardcaptor Sakura. Let's go ahead and let's get on to the review. Animated by Studio Madhouse, the creators of the first season of One Punch Man and many of your other anime favorites. Cardcaptor Sakura follows 10-year-old Sakura Kinomoto, an athletic and cheerful fourth grader. One day, she discovers a glowing book in her basement. When she opens it, she accidentally unleashes the magical Clow cards, scattering them across the city of Tomoyo. Tasked by the guardian of the cards, a tiny, plushy-looking creature named Gero-chan, Sakura must become the quote card captor alongside her best friend Tomoyo and her rival-turned-ally Syaoran Lee. Sakura has to track down and steal every card before they cause a global disaster. But beneath the magical battles, it is a profoundly beautiful story about growing up, family, and the many different shapes that love can take. Let's get one thing straight. Cardcaptor Sakura is a visual marvel. This is a late 90s cell animation at its absolute peak. Let's talk about the wardrobe. In almost every other magical girl show, the heroine has one stock transformation sequence that they replay every episode to save budget. Not here. Sakura doesn't magically transform. Her wealthy best friend, Tomoyo, physically sews her a brand new, highly detailed battle costume for almost every single encounter. The sheer variety in character design is staggering. Like, most of the outfits kind of fit that theming of the episode of Sakura, taking on the capturing the cards. Like I said, the only thing that transformed for Sakura is the keychain that forms into her wand. But Tomoyo has very crazy ideas. So watching these episodes through the 70 episodes, it was crazy. Saying that I don't know how this girl has the time to make all these outfits for her best friend, but I like for the fact she's so like obsessed in recording like her best friend's like actions. Like, she has her video camera on standby, and she gets upset in sometimes in some episodes where Sakura doesn't have the time to change into her wardrobe, and she's like, "Oh, I got the best outfit for this occasion." So that's why it kind of helps their variety, because like I said, most other magical series where the characters just have one outfit. But in this case, it kind of gives you that variety and kind of fits with the theming of the episode. Now let's talk about the vibe. It is the ultimate comfort watch. While there's a mystery to solve and cards to catch, the stakes often feel delightfully personal. The show spends just as much time on Sakura baking a cake for her crush or going on a school trip as it does on magical battles. There's some themes that go along with this episode. What makes an anime a masterpiece is its emotional maturity. The show treats its young characters with immense respect. It explores themes of grief, like Sakura's mother passed away when she was young. And it was incredibly groundbreaking in its positive, normalized depiction of an LGBTQ plus when it comes to crushes and relationships. It presents all forms of love as pure and beautiful. So that's why I kind of like this episode. Kind of speaks to me, being bisexual. It kind of shows that love has no bounds. It shows you don't have to be locked down, like you have to be attracted to a certain gender. So kind of makes it feel natural and fluid. That's what kind of like that Clamp kind of presented it when they came out with the manga itself. Now let's talk about the music. I know people, when it comes to like music, the opening and ending tracks, is it a banger or do you want to like skip it? Let's check out the playlist. Do the themes of Cardcaptor Sakura hold up? My verdict: absolute bangers. The soundtrack is pure, unadulterated serotonin. Let's talk about the OPs, like the first ones. The very first opening, Catch You Catching by Gumi, is legendary. It's bouncy, cute, and instantly transported back to the 90s. Remember, this came out in 1998. But then we get to opening 3, which is Platinum by Maya Sakamoto, composed by the legendary Yoko Kanno. Platinum isn't just a good anime opening, it's a transcendent piece of pop music. Let's talk about the ending themes. The ending themes are equally iconic, especially Groovy, which has this perfect late 90s R&B / pop fusion going on. So I recommend do not skip. Honestly, the songs, I was tempted to skip, but dude, it kind of feels catchy and it catches on with the theme what this show was made in. You have to listen to them and let the nostalgia wash over you when you're watching the show. Let's talk about the breakout character of this anime series. You might think it's Kero-chan, but the true MVP of this series is Tomoyo Dadoji. Why we love her is because Tomoyo redefined the best friend trope. She has no magical powers, but she is completely unfazed by the danger instead of cowering. She shows up to every magical battle, like I mentioned earlier, with a camcorder, really obsessed with getting the best lighting and angle of Sakura saving the day. And her impact for the show is she is the ultimate fashion designer, the camera crew, and the ultimate emotional support system. Her unconditional, selfless love for Sakura is one of the most mature and beautiful dynamics in the entire show. Without Tomoyo, Sakura would just be fighting in her pajamas or probably her school clothes, and not having that support when she's going through like these emotional events throughout the series. But having a best friend like Tomoyo is great because she's always there and willing to support Sakura. And I like for a fact she doesn't let the class system kind of divide them, because even though her mother owns a company and they make like a lot of like products and stuff, she doesn't let oh, I'm rich, I should not hang out with a commoner. She doesn't care about that because it's her pure love for Sakura, willing to support her in her endeavor to capture the Clow cards. Now, let's go on with the creator spotlight. We have to bow down to the queens of the manga industry, which is Clamp. If you're not familiar with Clamp, they are a collective. Clamp is an all-female manga artist collective that has been dominating the industry since the late 80s. They are the minds behind Chobits, XXX Holic, and Code Geass character designs. And their art style is instantly recognizable. Incredibly detailed, flowing hair, intricate clothing, and long, elegant limbs. But Clamp's true signature is their storytelling philosophy. They are famous for exploring soulmate dynamics, an idea that love transcends age, gender, even different dimensions. Cardcaptor Sakura is often considered their magnum opus of pure, optimistic storytelling. Now let's have our source material showdown. Madhouse versus Clamp. How does the anime compare? To me, this is a fascinating case when the anime massively expands on the manga and is arguably the better experience. Let me explain why it's that case. The expansion. In the original manga, there are only 19 Clow cards. In the anime, there are 52. That's crazy, huh? The anime added a ton of original cards and slice of life episodes. Usually anime fans hate filler, but the filler in Cardcaptor Sakura is universally loved because it gives the characters more room to breathe, interact, and grow. So it kind of helps with the story pacing, and it's kind of unique to see what are cards didn't make the cut in the manga, but get to see, character growth between, Sakura, Tomoyo, Syaoran, and how, it kind of makes like the storytelling, even though they're filler, kind of, it blends like the pacing, so it's not, you don't have to feel rush. If you want the complete immersive experience, to me, the anime is the way to go. But if you want more, less frillish, or short pacing, I would say go with the manga. But to me, the anime kind of overtakes the manga in this case. Now, let's talk about the great debate: our dub versus sub segment. Oh boy, let's talk about the dark times. The point here goes heavily, unequivocally to the sub or the modern uncut dubs. And let me tell you about the history behind that. If you grew up in North America, early 2000s, you likely watched the Nelvana dub, which was really branded as simply Cardcaptor. I remember this first came on during Kids WB back in the day. So basically, what they had to do was when Nelvana was doing the dubs for kids, guys, to market a show to young boys, even though it was for like an all gender audience, to market a show to young boys especially, the network heavily edited the series, cut out dozens of episodes, and try to make Syaoran, the main character, erase all LGBTQ plus undertones, because he actually had a crush on Yukito, who was male, and completely changed the music. It was a butchering of the source material. To truly appreciate the show, if you want that authentic experience, you must watch the original Japanese sub. Sakura Tanji's performance as Sakura, especially her iconic "Hoi" sound when she's confused, is perfect. The Japanese cast brings out a level of sincerity and softness that the old English dub completely missed. And you're wondering, how are you able to watch Sakura? Thankfully, you don't have to hunt down old VHS tapes to watch the proper version. You can stream the complete uncut series of Cardcaptor Sakura right now on Crunchyroll, but unfortunately for us viewers in the United States, you will have to use a VPN to access Cardcaptor Sakura. Or if you're lucky, find a retro anime sites that has, that version available. So get an opportunity, check out that series. So now, does Cardcaptor Sakura belong on the anime bucket list? Yes. To me, it's considered an S tier, even though this is number 15. Whether you are nostalgic for the 90s, looking for a beautifully animated comfort watch, or wanting to study the history of the magical girl genre, this show is required viewing. It is a masterpiece that will leave your heart feeling 10 sizes larger. Definitely something that if you want like that nostalgia feeling of the late 90s, but like I said, if you're into magical girls, to me, I feel this was like kind of like the pioneer. Even though Sailor Moon came out before, but Sailor Moon was more like its own type of genre. Even though it's somewhat magic evolved, but to me, Cardcaptor Sakura was more of the pioneer of the quote unquote magic girl genre. So, I have to say, that's a wrap for episode 15 of Anime Bucket Quest. If you want to check out the backlog of episodes, make sure to follow the pod on YouTube at Anime Bucket Quest. You can also check us out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, or where you get your audio podcasts. If you want to follow me on socials, you can follow me on Instagram only at The Franchise. I've been your host, The Franchise. Baki is struggling to walk in her giant ruffled shirt right now, so we are going to sign off. Always believe in your own magic, and we'll see you on the next quest. As always, geek on, take care, watch anime, and keep on questing.